Hey there, in this video, we're going to talk about how to implement ISO 42001's Annex A controls in a real world manner. So for background, my name is Walter Haydock. I'm the founder and CEO of StackAware. We help AI powered companies measure and manage their risk, primarily using the ISO 42001 framework. So at a high level, ISO 42001 is an international standard for AI management systems. It has two main components. There are other pieces, but the two main components are clauses 4 through 10, which lay out the basic requirements for your AI management system, and all of them are mandatory. Annex A is a list of controls, which are technically optional, which explain how to implement the requirements of your AI management system in order to manage that risk. Now, there is a little bit of a gray area or some ambiguity because I think there's quite a bit of overlap between clauses 4 through 10, as well as the Annex A controls, as well as overlap between the Annex A controls themselves. So at StackAware, the way we manage this problem is through two methods that we call the AI system assessment and the AI model assessment. So I'm going to break these down in depth and explain how we do them to help customers measure and manage their AI related risk. So the first thing I'd like to pull up is a chart showing the various Annex A controls. So as you can see, we've got Annex A on the left, we've got the text of the control, and then we've got another column called implied by existing clause. And this means that the requirement to implement this control is already implied or explicitly stated by one of the clauses 4 through 10 in the ISO 42001 standard. And if you scroll down, you can see the various clauses that imply you must do these things. And all of these things where there is overlap, clear overlap between clauses 4 through 10 and Annex A, these are highlighted in green. There are additional administrative controls that are highlighted in orange. You can see them here. Anything that is related to data governance is highlighted in blue. And then any additional technical controls are highlighted in gray. So there's a legend here as well if you need to refer back to it. But yeah, that is how this is broken down. And then in columns D and E, we have whether or not this control is covered by the relevant StackAware concept of AI model assessment or AI system assessment. So basically what we do is StackAware uses the AI model and system assessments as a way to evaluate the current situation or the planned situation if you're developing an AI system and identify potential risks. Those risks will become tracked in your risk register, and they will require the implementation of certain controls or at least affirmative risk management. The way we do risk management at StackAware is through mitigation, avoidance, transfer, or acceptance. And the mitigation and transfer steps will require affirmative moves by your organization in order to manage the risk. If you avoid the risk, that means you simply don't do the risky activity. And if you accept it, that means you do the risky activity, understanding that something bad might happen. There's no right answer. It really depends on your business requirements and the risk criteria for your organization, which you are required to establish as part of ISO 42001. Now, I'm going to zoom out a little bit and show you at a higher level how these work. And basically, we've got, in this slide, we've got this green oval, which incorporates all the concepts of an AI model assessment. And it's heavily focused on AI resources and data for AI, which are in Annex A 8.4 and Annex 8.7, there's a small focus on AI system lifecycle, which is Annex 8.6. So this is specifically focused on the individual AI model, the training data associated with it that's used to build the model, things like quality, data provenance, any identified bias, the sensitivity of the data. These are all things that are incorporated into the model assessment. Moving on to the system assessment, this is a more elaborate assessment that we need to do to meet the requirements of ISO 42001. As you can see, it includes all of the components of a model assessment with a slightly smaller focus on resources as well as data, whereas those two were the primary focuses for the model assessment. But what it also adds in are AI impact assessments. These are mandated by Clause 6.1.4 of ISO 42001, and they're also described in Annex A.5. I view this as somewhat overlapping in terms of the requirements. A.5 gives you some additional detail on how to perform AI system impact assessments, but the fact that they are located or that this guidance is in Annex A kind of implies that it's optional to do them, but unfortunately, Clause 6.1.4 basically says that it is mandatory. Additionally, the system assessment includes things like controls on the use of AI systems, information for interested parties, and then AI roles and responsibilities, primarily as they relate to human oversight of AI systems. So this is a high-level view of these various tools that we use at StackAware. And in the final part of this video, I'm going to show you exactly how we do this from an applied perspective. So if you look at our AI system and model assessment register, which is a template that you can download, you'll see that we have mapped out the relevant controls for a set of tasks. Tasks are a StackAware concept where we have combined various requirements from different Annex A controls of ISO 42001 into a consolidated requirement that clearly maps back to the requirements of the standard. So things like mapping the intended purpose and criticality, the complexity, reliability, observability, and monitoring. These are all things that you need to take into account when you're doing an AI system assessment, and then also things related specifically to Clause 6.1.4, like the retention and disposal, fairness, environmental sustainability, economic impacts, legal, governmental, public policy impacts. These are all things required for AI system impact assessments. On the model assessment side of things, as you might expect, these are specific to AI models. In this case, we're looking at OpenAI's O3 Mini here. And we look at things like data provenance, date of update, categories of data, intended use of data, quality, known or potential bias. So these are all things that drive the analysis of risk for a given AI model, whereas the AI system assessment is focused specifically on AI systems. So those are ways of deploying models. In this specific example, ChatGPT team is the system, and the model in question is O3 Mini. So the system requires the model to operate and inherits some of the characteristics from it as part of just operating in the real world. So hope this has been helpful and gives you an idea of how we at StackAware analyze AI-related risk and help organizations implement the ISO 42001 standard in a real-world and operational manner. And if you need help building your AI governance program, please do head over to stackaware.com and book a call to learn how we might be able to help. Thanks a lot.